Hey guys, what's going on? It's freaking cold. It's about, I don't know, 29, 28 degrees. Trying to get my gloves on over here. How y'all doing? I'm probably gonna get smoked out by this dang fire too. But it's going good, huh? Oh yeah, and I got close to it tonight so I can keep warm because it is extremely cold. I got 2 beanies on. How y'all doing? Remember, allegedly, these are all my opinions, my thoughts, my theories, my speculations, my big bubble, right? My alleged bubble. Y'all's comments, y'all's and y'all's alone. Not to reflect on the channel, just like mine don't reflect on the channel, just like Ruby don't reflect on the channel. It's just our theories, our thoughts, our speculations, all a big alleged bubble. All right, guys, we do our research together anyway. We're a family. So what I want to do is come on and talk a little bit about all the gossip and hoopla and drama and da in the Sebastian Rogers case. Man, if things flying now, everything's flying, right? For what? Everything's flying for what? Because somebody was paid by some of the family to put out a false narrative. To try to, like I said a week ago, 2 weeks ago, try to debunk, probably more than 2 weeks ago, try to debunk all the stuff they got against them, right? We know that. It's nothing new. It's old news. It's been like this since day one. And, you know, it's so funny to hear all these areas that they're supposedly checking on, right, are all been cleared already, right? And why are they not looking in by Yogi Bear? He don't want to go that way, does he? Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel like there's probably some reason, right? But I've been there several times, and it's very, 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 very. I'm trying to keep my cold air from messing up the camera, but it's not going to work. So y'all just going to have to take it, right? But you know, like I've searched those areas a lot, but if they really feel that if the whole point of this whole thing is that they pass him off to someone, right, which is about majority of 70% probably believe that, 60% probably believe that, and that's faith, I get it. But what about foul play? Because they brought that up after 8 days. So what about that when they turn to the investigation side of it all? All right, we got to remember, as I talk about plenty of times before, the landfill and what Sonny said. And then he vanishes or passes away. All of a sudden, right? Like, was he getting to the bottom of something? Was he, you know, I know a lot of people, this is what I'm telling you what people are saying, right? I'm not saying this, I'm saying. Some people think that there's ties to that, how they passed away, and a couple of people that were, you know, working on the case, whatever, and then a witness or something. I think the green hoodie. Like, you see all these little things that are flying out everywhere to distract the whole thing, right? We pretty much can say we know what probably happened, right? I think we're all on the same page on that when it comes to what we believe happened in this situation, right? And I do feel that we're probably right on this, right? I mean, you know, in our opinions, we're right? That's how we want to be. We want to be right in our opinions, right? We do. I don't blame us. I want to be right too. Now, I know there's always a chance that we're wrong, right? That is possible. So we have to look at all sides, right? And keep our eyes open. Because if for some reason, what I'm trying to connect is not the dots, but the reason I keep bringing Summer Wells up in this case is because, like I said a week or so ago when I first started talking about the copycat, you go back and look at everything, even look at the times. Okay? Look at the times. And a lot of people, I don't think anybody's talked about this, but because a lot of people don't feel that it's a copycat thing, but I do. Summer Wells went missing at 6:30 p.m. Sebastian Rogers was reported missing at 6:30 a.m. Wow. Same time, 12 hours apart. Wow. 3 minutes, 2 minutes. CPS. And then Don had just been arrested, October 2020, within 8 months before Little Summer vanished. Don had been arrested and Candus had pressed charges because she was threatened and scared for her life and her children's lives. Okay, we can't forget this, right? Which a lot of people, I think they're pushing past. You can't forget that. He had a weapon with him, right? A 22, like, and he's not supposed to. She was feared for her life because why? Because she was cheating, right? He caught a male at the house. Well, what happened on the day that she vanished? She was with another guy. So can this be a possible of what happened? Can something have bad happen because he went into a rage and that happened? Because we know the photo and the video, right? There's two different ones. One's the video of like a second or so that grandma filmed in the back, which, you know, her hand looks further up. And then if you see the photo after off the camera screen, it's you know, because they took a picture off of the screen of the camera, right? The police, I think, off of her phone. Which ones, I don't know. I would love to see the timestamps. I would love to know what time that picture was taken and what time that video was taken. That would give us a lot more answers, but they know that. But the two different photos are two different. All her hand did was slide down. And if you notice her hand, okay, she's laying like this, right? So it would be the left hand. Look at her fingers, how they're curling. Like, right, like this, right? They're curling. So it tells me that she's possibly 45 minutes, an hour has probably passed. You know, if what I think happened in the car, you know, something bad happened there. Or did he show up out there at that water hole, mad as heck because of what had just happened 8 months before? She's with the same guy again and it started a whole nother battle, right? Could that be something that have happened? We don't know, right? But anyway, let's get back to Sebastian. I'm trying to just show y'all the two things that I'm looking at. Because so far we have the same time, just 12 hours apart, that they were both reported missing. 6:30 a.m., 6:30 p.m. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Katie was 3 minutes. Candus was 2 minutes. Vanished in 2 minutes. She called Chris in 3 minutes because she couldn't find him. She ran around everywhere scared, checked all the closets. At 3 minutes, called Chris. Both of them called the husband. Neither one of them called 911 first, right? Which is, it's the same. Sorry, okay? Then CPS was involved in both. Abuse was involved in both. Like, so many things, right? Was this the same person? Did they use whoever they used maybe to help with get rid of Summer, to help to get rid of Sebastian? Or did they just try to do it the same way because they tried to copycat them because they've gotten away with it? Is that what happened here? That they copied them almost to the T, right? The only place where they messed up, which they both had no shoes, supposedly, right? They both were not dressed really. But, you know, it's hot in one and cold in the other. But so that's a little different. But neither one had shoes, supposedly. Somehow they were both kidnapped, according to the parents. That's what they think. Somebody has them. Somebody has them. That's what they've all said. Like, Katie has copied everything that the Wells have said, right? Like 100% to a T, right? Like, straight out copied it. And that's, to me, that's kind of... Like, there's too many scenarios that are the same. Like, they have copied everything they did. Like, the YouTube and the talking, so much is alike in so many ways. So many ways. It's unreal. The time thing threw me off. When I was writing down times of 2 days, I was like, man, that's like only a 12-hour difference in time. That's not much difference in time at all. Like, literally, at all. Not much difference in time. So that kind of got me thinking a little bit more about things. But at least the Sebastian video, we had the flashlight video, which I think holds all the keys. I think that's the cover up right there. That's either when he was taken out of there or he was taken out of there before that. And that was somebody picking somebody up that had stayed and sat at that house while she did what she did. You know, either way, that's my two theories. Y'all know how I feel about those. I don't feel that this boy ran away. There's only like a probably 5% chance that he did. Which, if he did, I wouldn't blame him after all the CPS reports, right? I really wouldn't. So, we can't blame him if he would have run away. But he would have taken stuff with him, and I think he would have called his dad and said, I'm on my way, right? And then them blaming Seth, and, oh, did he pay the kid? You know, I don't believe none of that either, because I don't think he'd be doing what he's doing. And you know, for them to say they're not searching because they think he's kidnapped, that doesn't mean anything. Like, you still have to search regardless until you get the answers you're looking for, until he's found and brought home. I mean, it's like you're giving up on him if you don't search, which will be nothing new, because the other side, the two fat asses that lived their best life in the Yogi Bear campground and did all their partying and all their stuff they wanted to do, they ghosted him in an early time. At least Seth was out there hammering the ground, searching, right, doing his best, spreading awareness all the time, demanding answers, demanding his son be found, saying I'm not going to give up, always saying positive things about Sebastian, never negative like the other two, right? The other two were always negative. And the other two never spoke for 8 days. They had to come up with their story. They had to relive their plan for a few days to get it in their mind so they wouldn't mess up. And then she still messed up. And then he even messed up even worse, right? Like, totally messed up worse. He blew it. He blew everything on that case, to me. You know, I'm not, you know, in my opinion, he did. You know, that's how I feel about it anyway. But, you know, like I said, we could all be wrong. Who knows? This young man could have freaking ran away on his own. I don't see that, but it's possible. I just don't see it, you know. But that fire's warm, but it ain't warm enough. It's cold out here. But, you know, like I felt like, you know, with all the people jumping on it now, which is wonderful, right? Because remember, everybody ran off, got scared. I started my channel. I did the first video or two about it and let everybody know, hey, that all this is dropped. Let's squash it. Let's get back out there. Let's get his name back out there. And then everybody started pounding the ground again. But we lost a lot of time, right? Because of what they did with threatening everyone and trying to sue everyone and cease and desist everyone. Which, why did he do that? I've always never understood why he did that. To then turn around and flip completely 180 and say, please, I need your help. Please, I need your help. Please, I need your help. I never understood that part of it all. So that was kind of a little downfall, but it wasn't a full red flag, but it was a small, right? But it wasn't a big red flag. But it did kind of shock me why he was doing this to people. Now, I understand if they were talking bad about Sebastian, which I don't think anyone was, but if some of the other channels possibly could have been, I don't know, the ones that are defending the other two, there's no telling what they do. That, you know, to me, that's just hideous, right? You don't defend a suspect in a way, I guess, but then they're all suspects. But they don't have the past. The CPS reports on Seth, 4 or 5 different ones, and he didn't come out and say he did this with the belt and he did this, and he wasn't going to court for another daughter, or he wasn't battling an ex-wife, or all the stuff that played the role and that gave them the motive. You know, the motive is the court. You know, I've always said that. And we have to get back to the middle of the track and focus on what we have out there now that we can try to come up with something that's more solid, right? Like, for me, the flashlight video, I believe, holds all the answers. But the biggest one to me of it all is the landfill. And y'all know that. I feel like that was the answer. That's the law enforcement's way of giving us their side of what they believe. To me, that's what that was. That statement that was put out by Sonny, right, after the landfill search, to say, we're very disappointed in the outcome of this. We were expecting closure. We were wanting closure, right? We were praying for closure. Tells me one thing. They had a somewhat of a really solid either lead tip or feeling that he was in there. I don't think it was a tip. I think it was something that was in the hunch of one of the officers or investigators or TBI. I still think it was TBI that said, you know what, we better go check the landfill, right? Like, let's do that. And, you know, this is pointing to this is pointing to that. And I mean, everything that we talk about, well, if this family has ties to this funeral home or this landfill, they already know all that, right? They're way ahead of us, right? And now we're seeing that. How much more ahead of us they really were. How many more footages do they really have? Do they actually have this young man on a footage walking on his own? That's what I want to know. You know, saying he's seen on the 26th early morning, to me, that's 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. That's what, you know, that's kind of what they consider early morning. Me too. And because it's the newest part of the day, right? So that's what I consider the early morning hours as well. So, with that, man, it's so hard to think about. The landfill, to me, tells us something bad happened, right? I hate to say it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, right? But it tells us that something bad happened, most likely to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Bless his heart. It's heartbreaking as it is. This case touches me a lot, and even when I'm searching, if I'm searching for somebody else, I still go back to that reflection of CPS because I can't get that out of my head, how they failed this young man, right? How in the world did they fail this young man, right? And I know he's not the only one that's ever been failed, right, by CPS. I think there's been a lot that have been failed by CPS. And if there's not improvements, then what's the purpose? Right? If they don't learn from these things, then what's the purpose, right? That's what this is about, is a learning tool to learn from it. That's how I see it, right? Is we should learn from it. And it should make us not make that same mistake twice. And I know it's a little late for Sebastian in it because CPS already made their decisions, right? They didn't take him out of that home. They didn't tell the bio father, which I still don't understand how they got away with that. Unless someone within that sheriff's office kept it from him because they're friends with the Prophets, which I still believe there's at least one or two in there that are. Sorry, I feel it. I can't help it. There has to be something. But he's used, Christopher has used the TBI and the Sumner County local, he calls them local law, like as a scapegoat. Because remember when he came out, oh, we're already vetted, we're already cleared, we have nothing wrong, we done nothing wrong, they can't find nothing against us, we're fully cooperating. And then all these things start coming out, and then we start putting all these pieces of the puzzle together, and we realize all along he was full of shit the whole entire time. What a douchebag, right? He was full of shit the entire time. Lying out his ass every time he was on camera. Straight out, man. Sucks, right? Even on Nancy Grace, he bald-faced lied. And then he want to try to act like a cool Joe and say, oh, and you name the place, I'll be there. What are you, some movie actor? Come on. He reminds me of John Wayne Gacy. Trigger warning, I hate to say that. Trigger warning times 100 million. But he's evil in a way. And I don't know if it comes from his mama, probably, because he's a mama's boy. But she's kind of evil too, right? What she did to Faith and to Nina, right? That was heartbreaking, what they had to go through with that woman. And especially with Evo Terry, like he's the one to me that could have done whatever they wanted done and lose no sleep over it. But the saddest thing to think about, I talked to someone today at the church, and I was talking to the lady about it, and she's never heard of it. And I was talking to her about the case and explaining the details about it. And she said, that mother has to get up every single morning and look herself in the mirror knowing what happened. And she said, eventually it's going to weigh on her so bad that one of two things are going to happen. Either she's going to pass away or she's going to spit it out. Like take it with her to whatever, her grave, or spit it out, right? And, we always think of karma is so bad, right? It is. Karma's a bitch. I always say that. And I think they're getting their karma now. Like, they got away with all the shit talking in the first 4, 5, 6 months. And then when FBI dropped that bomb of that reward, they immediately jumped out and thanked them, right? And then tables started turning. They got real quiet. And then the next thing is they shut up all their dumb stuff, right, on YouTube and everything, right? And then all the sling blade and all that, he bypassed all that, dropped doing all that, kind of stayed out of sight for a while. And then, bam, started searching. I can't believe they paid somebody like $15,000. That's insane. I mean, put it in a reward fund. Don't pay somebody to debunk videos. Put that money in the reward fund for your son. I mean, why did Katie pay that kind of money? Like, put it in a reward fund. Let the reward go up. Call FBI and say, you know what, we want to give $15,000 to y'all's reward fund. Right? Don't give it to some guy that's going to put out what you want him to put out. I feel sorry for that guy. He's putting out what they want him to put out. And it's sad. And you know, it's the one that got me was him trying to remake that video, because we knew right there that wasn't going to work out because he did the way he said it, you know. But then to kind of mark that car and do, like, he's trying so hard to protect them too, and that's cool. He works for them. He's supposed to protect. It's like a lawyer. Whether you're guilty or not, they defend you, right? It's kind of the same way, right? They paid him, so he's defending them. He bought into that pickle. He took that money, bub money, whatever it is. He took it, so he's got to live with it. I mean, that $15K, what was that, what they paid you for Sebastian? That's what I wonder. Who knows, right? That's always been talked about. I haven't really talked about it much because I pray to God that didn't happen, but you never know. They're copycats of Don and Candus, so who knows what they did. And then now they're going to move just like Don and Candus did, right? They're going to move. And you know, some of those letters that Don put out just are so stupid. Because he's like worried more about their lives and what they're going through than what poor little Summer went through. And, you know, accident or no accident, I'm wondering now, was it something from him catching her cheating again? It's only been 8 months after the other arrest, right? And then she dropped all the charges after she said she was terrified of him and filed an order the next day on October 15th. And then she drops it on October 19th, right? Like, I'm sorry I'm bouncing around. I'm just, in my head, I'm trying to see how Katie and Chris have copied almost to the T, like even to the timeline. The only difference was one was on a Tuesday, one was on a Monday. Make that make sense. But 6:30 a.m., 6:30 p.m. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. CPS. Call the husband. Out of town. Husband. I mean, it's like the same. It's just like a reverse. Like rewind, change the name. Okay. Instead of being Don and Candace, it's Chris and Katie. Right? It's like it spun the wheel backwards. And that blows my mind, really. That once I compared that time thing, I was shocked, you know. But as far as the vehicle, I still wonder, is it a truck with a brush guard? Or is it something different, right? There's two ways to look. It looks to me like it has a brush guard, and that's why the yellow lights are flickering on that video that he covered the front of the car. You know, because he couldn't see it because he didn't want us to see that it was Chris or Katie probably, or Terry or Kathy. And that's cool. If he wants to cover for him, that's fine. The truth will eventually come out. We know that. It's sad that we have to keep waiting every day, but it's going to come out. It's going to come out. And Sebastian will get justice one way or another. Someday he's going to get justice, right? It's going to happen. And we have to pray for that. But still, all in all, I just wondered, from 2:58 a.m. is whenever he was either carried out or carried out, because he wasn't walked out, of the dogs would have followed him. So no way he walked out barefooted to that car with his mama or whoever took him out there. No way. I mean, and he didn't come back. One person came back, but the other one didn't. So that we know automatically, most likely, that she carried him out of that house. And I think they know that everybody knows now because of the clip, because of how everybody's analyzed it and broke it down, and how we know how they didn't want it leaked, right? No way did they want that leaked. They were so mad it got out. And I don't blame them. And that's why the other one, I'm even shocked that they was able to get out, right? And how many more are there, right? Because if they're releasing these, there's got to be way more. I mean, there's got to be 2 or 3 cameras that picked up that vehicle, at least. Somebody knows something. That's what I always say. Somebody knows what car that was, what kind of car that was. Somebody knows something. And I'm wondering, do they have that person but they can't find him, and that's what they're waiting for, is to find Sebastian before they arrest that person that was in that car? Now, I've wondered that. Oh, you know, I still think it was Chris or Kathy or Terry. And we know Katie didn't leave because she's the one that had to call him missing, right? So she didn't leave. But I don't know, guys. It's tripping me out over here. I'm so brokenhearted for this young man and for Summer Wells and for all of them, that I continue for some reason to keep, like, in my mind, I keep trying to think, okay, they left the roadhouse at 6:30. Well, they got home by 6:34, 6:35, roughly the 9 minutes. So there's that 6:30 again, right? You know, we said 6:30 a.m. and then 6:30 p.m. they were eating. Well, about the time they were getting done eating is about the time that Summer was reported missing. Of course, different days, different years, but I'm saying the time frame. And they both did something special for their kids that day. She took him all over. They took Summer to the lake. They planted flowers, which, red flag on the flowers, guys. Have y'all seen those pots, those pictures of those big pots and flower pots? Those are all cactus. There ain't no flowers in there. So don't BS and say that there's flowers. You come up with another lie. Those are all like cactus bushes next to Grandma's, Candus's mom or whatever, camper. Those big, huge tubs are just cactus, 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 cactus. Maybe one little plant, one little sprout. It look like weeds. It don't even look like a damn flower anyway. She wasn't planting no flowers. Y'all were digging a hole somewhere. But you had to say that to cover up your dirty dirt under your fingernails. Where did they put that little girl? Just like Sebastian, where did they put him? Whoever picked him up, where did they put him? I'm sorry, but to me, it's Chris Proudfoot. That's the one that picked him up, I feel. He had plenty of time. You know, now that we've broken down the time, we know he had plenty of time. Hang up with her a little before 12. Drive down there. Get back before 6:30 to 8 or 6:33 before he was in the crane, so he'd be able to answer the call in the crane, so it looked like he's at work. Their master plan worked. But there's a few things they forgot about because the shoes being one and the flashlight being the two. They had to say flashlight because they knew they were going to get caught on camera somewhere. But what I don't think they thought they were going to get caught on was the car headlights. I don't think they thought that was going to catch them. You know, because we heard about jammers, we heard about all that. It's possible they could have used jammers, but those cameras still picked them up, so not everything was jammed, right? So, lo and behold, when's the truth going to come out? For justice, for Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers. 16 years old today. Well, December 7th, he was 16. So right now, he's 16 today. And almost a year of finally getting somewhere, right? And so at least we're getting somewhere, right? We have more in this than we do in Summer. Summer, they're guilty. We know they're guilty. They just don't have enough to arrest him. This case, now everything that's coming out, now we know they have enough to arrest him. So my question is to the Sheriff's Office of Summer County, Hendersonville, Tennessee, when are the arrests going to happen? Is CPS going to file to get the arrest done? I don't know. Or is that a rumor? I don't know. There's a lot of things going around behind closed doors. I don't know if they're rumors or not, but are they having a meeting? CPS having a meeting to try to charge this man? They can. And I'm sure they got photos too. You know, CPS always takes photos, so I wonder where the bruises were or the marks were. Because you know, as soon as he got to school, he told on him. As soon as he got to school. So if he had just had to happen that morning, he had marks. And if he had all those scratch marks and bite marks, what does Sebastian have? This won't be the first time that this happened, so we know that. So how many bruises or anything did he have when he took photos with teachers, with CPS? Because whatever he had against him, he was going to win because they had already put Chris out of that home. So we know Sebastian was going to win. And that's why he was looking for a new wife already at the Roadhouse in Memphis, flirting with everyone, flirting with Terry Lynn, a whole bunch of them, right? Like, the only thing they haven't done to be like, I don't want to say that yet, but you know, it's like, I gotta be careful, but somehow, some way, they've either pulled this off so perfect that even the video evidence isn't enough. But I think it is, and the reason I think it is because of the FBI reward and flyer. Last seen early morning hours of the 26th near Stafford Court. Near, that's Kellen Road down there, right? So that's near Stafford Court. Was he caught on a camera in that car later on down the road by the school? That 11:30 thing, was that a sighting of him in a car with someone or what, right? And I know they say it's just BS and it's bogus, but was he seen on camera, on a traffic camera somewhere, in a vehicle, with someone else that they hired or whatever? You know they're going to hire this guy to cover their ass. They probably hired somebody to take Sebastian off too. So You know, allegedly, remember, these are my opinions. I'm all alleged here. But somehow the forebears got to go down. So they didn't do what's right from the front. They never did what's right from the beginning. They never cared about Sebastian enough to beg and plead for him, to whoever had him, let him go. They didn't do all this because they knew where he was from the start. And I think everybody in the true crime world knows that. You don't beg for something, you know where it is. You don't search for something, you know where it is. Unless it's lost, right? Then you do. Well, we know it's not lost because they never acted like it was lost. Anyway, that's what I wanted to do tonight. Get a little catch up. My feet are like a block of ice right now. Even though that's warm, my feet are not warm. And we'll continue more tomorrow. Weather's supposed to be pretty and get warm again. So tomorrow night will be good fire with not so cold. I think it's supposed to be in the 50s or 60s, so that'd be great. Anyway, justice for Sebastian Rogers, guys. Justice for Summer Wells, too. And y'all have a good night. Be safe. We love y'all, guys. And remember, there are copycats to me with how Katie has copied almost everything. Y'all think about those time things now that we were talking about and give me your opinion on that. All the times were 6:30. Eating, missing. Reported. 6:30. Eating, Roadhouse, 6:30. Lake, whatever, I don't know. Planting flowers, 6:30. Who knows, right? They're all the times are the same. They copycatted them on everything. It's just, where is this young man and where's Summer? All right, guys, y'all be good. Y'all be safe. We love y'all, guys. Remember, allegedly, these are all my opinions, my thoughts, my theories, my speculations. Trigger 1 times 100 million. Justice for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We must find this young man. All right, guys, we'll talk tomorrow. Bye.